Key resources are the resources necessary to create value for the customer. They are considered an asset to the company and are needed in order to sustain and support the business. Resources can be of different types. Physical resources, such as the delivery trucks of a logistics company or the power plant of an electricity provider. Intellectual resources, such as patents or specific know-how and expertise. Human resources, such as the software developers in an ICT company or the construction workers in a construction company. And financial resources, such as capital and bank loans. Question. For example, what are IKEA's key resources? Answer. Very important to IKEA are its physical resources, especially its accessible store locations in large cities and the stock of produced furniture in its warehouses. To make everything run, IKEA needs sufficient intellectual and human resources in order to design, produce, and sell its products. For companies such as IKEA, Coca-Cola, and BMW, their brands are intangible assets with enormous value. Key activities are the most important activities involved in executing a company's value proposition and making its business model work. Key activities could be production, as when you manufacture a product such as chocolates. Marketing, as when your business strategy requires you to spend a lot of effort on marketing, as is the case with many fast-moving consumer goods with a strong brand name. Problem solving, as when you offer services such as consulting or engineering. And supply chain management, as when you distribute physical goods. Question. For example, what are the key activities undertaken by IKEA? Answer. IKEA puts a lot of effort into designing and producing its furniture. Its product designers and developers focus on maximizing product equipment, using raw materials efficiently, applying technical innovations, and the best possible design. Supply chain management is at the heart of IKEA's operations. The IKEA Group has over 30 distribution centers in 16 countries, supplying goods to IKEA stores. It has about 45 trading service offices in 31 countries. This enables it to develop close relationships with its 1,350 suppliers in 50 countries. Another key activity is marketing. Just think of the annual IKEA product catalogue with all that furniture in lifelike settings. Key partners constitute the network of suppliers and partners that make the business model work. Ask yourself, which key resources or activities do I actually require from these partners, and at what stage of the company do I need them? There are different motivations for considering partnerships. To optimize operations and reduce the risks to a business, organizations usually build buyer-supply relationships so they can focus on their core activity. Business alliances also can be considered through joint ventures, strategic alliances between competitors or non-competitors, etc. Question. For example, what key partnerships does IKEA have? Answer. IKEA has quite a few partnerships. Think, for instance, of the deals with their logistics partners, production partners, and installation partners. Cost structure denotes the most important monetary expenses incurred when operating the business model. With regard to cost structure, it is important to note that you need to consider not only the most obvious costs, such as people, rent, tools, etc., but also what the most significant costs are. What is most expensive? Which activities are most expensive? And so on. Additional characteristics of costs which you should take into account are fixed costs. costs that are fixed independently of the amount of goods produced or services performed, for example, rent and staff. Variable costs. Costs which vary depending on the amount of goods produced or services performed, for example, raw material and storage capacity in a cloud service model. Economies of scale. When your unit costs fall as the amount of goods or services ordered or produced increases. And economies of scope. When costs fall as a result of the incorporation of other businesses which have a direct relation to the product. Question. For example, what costs does IKEA incur? Answer. The most important costs incurred by IKEA are marketing expenses, staff salary, stores, logistics costs, and costs involved in the production of its goods. As IKEA designs its products to match certain costs, it tries to eliminate all unnecessary expenses by, for instance, limiting the number of staff in stores, efficient and economical use of raw material, realizing economies of scale through mass production, offloading costs toward the consumer by employing do-it-yourself assembly, pickup and transportation, and using flat packaging to reduce transportation and storage costs. Putting it all together results in the business model canvas, which looks like this on a poster.